So I'm giving you guys all of this for free, just as previous members. This is something that we covered off inside our 7-figure elite mastermind. So there's around about 42 members inside 7-figure elite mastermind. And these agency owners are pretty much at a point where they really want to scale what we call a boutique agency. So going from a recruitment solopreneur with maybe a couple of VAs and some automation to actually scaling a proper agency that is self-managing, reliant without them, and will be scaling to like $1 million plus. As you'll see first, what I want to do, just give everyone a reminder off of the overview of what everyone's trying to build, is the actual roadmap all the way to 7 figures and actually having a successful 7-figure recruitment agency. Some of you might be still at startup phase. I don't think so, because all of you have been through Recruit Accelerator now. So you've all got past the point of building the agency, making your first few placements, getting some clients. You've got to 100K or more in your year. So I would imagine most of you are around about the Solopreneur stage, which is your revenue is around about 250K, give or take. Your profitability is around 70%. But your biggest problem is normally low fee paid clients, maybe not enough of them. Actually, how you go from doing everything yourself with maybe a couple of VAs and some automation to actually hiring your first employee and actually truly building out a company as opposed to just you as a solopreneur recruiter. And that'll take us where we are here, which is probably the hardest piece, is actually dialing in a small boutique agency, because it is scary. It is hard work, and there's risk involved in terms of costs and a lot more complexity to try and iron out everything and build out the correct systems. On this part, it's normally revenue between 300 and 750K. The profitability is usually around about the 60 to 70-ish%, depending on where you've got your team as well and what basic salaries, etc., and overheads you've got. But generally it's around about 60, 70% profit. And normally from that stage, your main problem is always hiring and the operations behind. So operational management structure, dialing in the right hires, and you're probably in the trenches a lot again, because as a solopreneur, you try and get out of them, but you only get out of them to a point where you've got some Dripify automation, maybe a virtual assistant team, some clients and emails coming inbound, but you're still doing deals yourself a lot of the time. So as you scale to the small boutique agency, your new role is more about the hiring, the structure, the operations. Probably one of the biggest things that you need to start doing there, and the biggest shift that I made in Ronald James, was really productizing our services. So I can probably dive into that a little bit today, but that was where we really nailed and won a lot of exclusive clients. So when I look at our accounts now, we've got around about 50 exclusive clients. That comes down to not just the signature sales pitch deck, which some of you maybe have implemented it, got access to that in 7-figure CEO, but it was how you differentiate in the market of what extra value are you going to bring to your client. In 2023, it's going to be very, very competitive for clients. So I think that's an exciting thing. And I think you should all be geared up, ready for the battle, because you've got some advantages already. So all of you should have automated email campaigns going out. You should all be doing Loom video outreach, LinkedIn follow-ups, LinkedIn Dripify client outreach. And for some of you I know in the mastermind, you've built out your marketing sourcing team, and you've got those marketing sourcing ninjas, both either reaching out to clients or being able to build those lists. This is probably where the area that most people want to get to. But once you get here, the business will still be heavily reliant on you. You're making a lot more money. So let's say you're doing 750K a year and you're taking home 60% of that profit. It's a nice round about 350,000 a year income that you can take out of the business, which is good. But you will feel a little bit of the pressure because you're hiring. But you need to get to the stage to get actual financial freedom and away from doing everything yourself. You have to take that leap to go and past the 3 hires plus. So that means actually building delivery consultants, building out that system, and really dialing in the client acquisition, which is what you need to do, which is productize the services and get exclusive clients. And then this is the end ultimate goal for everyone. This is the holy grail where I got to with Ronald James, probably way back 3-4 years ago now, where I don't have to operate inside the business at all. And it consistently does over $1 million a year, around 1.5 million a year. And our profitability is pretty much bang on 45%, to be transparent with everyone. So yes, the profitability goes down slightly. However, the biggest piece of the getting the 7-figure agency is having freedom back. So this is the only way you're going to be able to buy your time back and actually have a business as a true revenue cash flow business that's producing revenue and monthly income for you consistently without having to work inside the business. You'll still be working on the business, but to get to that point, you can get to it where it's around about 8 to 12 employees. I always say 12 is the real high end. A lot of the people, our members inside 7-figure elite mastermind, that's what I tell them. Boutique 7-figure agency, don't go past 12, because then you've got more management layers and processes you have to build in and things start to break again. So the model, the sweet spot is around about this level here. Then it's just making sure like one day you could hire a manager to replace you, whether it's a CEO, MD, and it's really just dialing in the systems, processes, KPIs, and probably the main problem for most entrepreneurs is letting go. So this is the 7-figure agency roadmap. So I just wanted to set the scene of like the image of where we all working towards, because we have to go through this road. So you're probably somewhere on the journey. I'd imagine most of you. Just let me know in the chat, just so we've got a good idea. Are you at starter phase where your revenue's at 100k or less? And there's no right or wrong answer. It just gives us an idea of where we're at. Are you a solopreneur where it's around 250k revenue and you've just got VAs and you are doing all of the deals yourself? Which one of you are at small boutique agency stage? Just from looking at the call, I don't think anyone's at this stage yet. No, VAs don't count as employees, Ronald. When I say employee, they are on a full-time basic salary and they're either a recruitment delivery consultant, which is mainly most likely that type of hire. Cool. So everyone's in and around either start a solopreneur, and we've got a handful at small boutique agency stage. And this is the toughest phase because it can get good and you can get complacent, because once someone's doing maybe 200k a year as a solopreneur, 250, it's nice because all the profits are always, I say 70%, you can probably do 80%. So you're earning like top 1% of earners, and you could have a nice business doing it that way. You could work 3 days a week, maybe 3.5 days a week, have a solopreneur business, and there is nothing wrong with that. It just means that you're going to do that forever, or to a point where you're going to retire. You're not going to create financial freedom from being in this position, which is why we need to elevate you into small boutique agency and then help you build out the pillars for a 7-figure agency. So then you've got a cash producing asset that runs for you. So you can go off and do other investments like I have with property, agency blueprint business, and other business investments that I've got. It allows me to have the freedom back. But that's the journey that we should all be aiming for. Okay, so I wanted to give you some updates. So for some of you that's been out of the program for quite some time, maybe a year or a little bit past, I know some of you are still inside Recruit Accelerator 2.0 and some of you inside the mastermind. So for you guys, this might not be relevant, but some of you might not have seen it apart from the elite mastermind members. That's the end goal. You can sell the business. Like I've had conversations a couple of times, people offered to buy my business. The reason why I haven't sold the company yet is just because, for instance, for us, like our business does it did 2 million a year. Last year we did like 1.5 million pounds, so just under $2 million. The profitability was good, and I still keep the business because it helps me implement everything we teach in Agency Blueprint, Elite Mastermind as well. I always like to be ahead of the curve, so anything's evolving, changing, I can test it in my agency to then help you guys. So when that comes to a point where I don't want to do that anymore, then yes, I'll maybe exit Ronald James. But until then, there's no real point, because any exit that you do with a recruitment agency, you most likely have an earnout. And an earnout means you'd have to work in that business for 2 or 3 years before you get the full money. And normally 90% of deals are structured with owner financing, which means the company would come in and use your money in that company to buy the company off you and structure it out over a 2 or 3 year period. So because I know that business fully runs without me, I would rather just extract 500,000, 700k a year out of that pure profit, as opposed to if I sold the business, let's say for 2 times EBIT, 3 times EBIT, then I would still get probably the same amount of money over those 3 years than me just pulling out the profits every year. But for some of you, like, yes, that's the goal. But you have to get, you all need to get to past $1 million plus revenue, and you need employees that you're not doing any of the placements, because otherwise you're too important to the company itself. That's really the idea with this.